Alrighty then. Oh, look at this hand. So many Salta emissaries. I think we gotta send it back. I don't think we can keep one land for Salta emissaries. This is not much better, but it is a scry land, and we have a 1-drop, so I think we have a chance of this working out. We really need to find lands though. Mardu Charm is not a land. Mountain though is a land, obviously. Alright, so if we can, next turn we can play the Bloodsoaked Champion in the mountain, and then we are only 1 land away from actually being able to play real cards. We would rather not have our opponent draw a bunch of cards with Pains here, so it'd be nice if we could draw this land soon. Could have played the face-up Instigator there instead, and if we don't draw land, we will play face-up Instigator next turn. But I think we want to leave open the possibility of playing it face down. But ideally, we just get an untap land, kill the Painseer, and then go from there. Bloodsoaked Rager. It doesn't actually help Painseer, but that's alright. So what do we have? Land? Another Mardu Charm. Another Mardu Charm is not too exciting. So we can get in with our champion, play the Instigator. Unfortunately, our opponent is going to get to draw a card, which is pretty bad for us. Yeah. Alright, here's Downfall. So we can kill Instigator, attack with both again. We really need to draw land, or else we're just when he has ultimate price. Yeah, we're in a bit of trouble. Just because we don't have enough lands to interact. Our opponent has Hero's Downfall too. Oh, there's land at least. That gives us some amount of chance in this game. Because we get to kill Painseer. And that actually turns on our Murderous Cut, and now we're only 1 land away from Sorin. So we can potentially... The fact that our opponent killed our 2/2 instead of advancing his board last turn might be a good sign that our opponent doesn't have a lot of good creature options. A handful of Hero's Downfalls and such isn't that threatening. Mogus's Marauder is fine. So I think, another land. Okay, so we have a couple options, but I think, I'm not sure what the best one is here. I think we attack and pass the turn, and then, depending on what our opponent does, we can either kill a creature with Murderous Cut or Mardu Charm, or we might be able to make 2 tokens and ambush a creature. The other thing is, if we can pump up Sorin, we get to gain a bunch of life, which might, especially if we make the tokens, which might be enough to win the game. Vileblight on Bloodsoaked Champion. Alright, so we do get to go with the ambush plan since our opponent is tapped out. So we can kill this Bloodsoaked Rager. So this is way better than just casting it as a removal spell, because we actually get creatures left over. And we get to get the free kill here. Drop down to 8. We know our opponent has the Murderous Cut. If we draw a land, we can, an untapped land, we can Sorin and still leave up Murderous Cut. And that would be pretty sweet. We can actually Murderous Cut right now, too. Maybe that's better. Maybe we just Murderous Cut the... I guess Tormented Hero, since it's actually a warrior. Let's do that. This way, even if we don't draw land, we can still play Sorin. It's going to die to Hero's Downfall, but it's going to gain us a bunch of life. Oh, we drew the land anyway. But, so we can Sorin, pump up Sorin, This basically time walks our opponent by making them cast Hero's Downfall. We get to get in for 4 and gain 4. And now we just hope we draw some sweet stuff off the top. And basically, at this point, any non-land card is solid. There's the Hero's Downfall on Sorin, as expected. I would think our opponent's going to keep attacking. Aggressive. Alright. So we get to get in with both tokens. Unfortunately, we had to exile our Bloodsoaked Champion, but we get another one here. And we're pretty far ahead in the race. I think it was still worth exiling that Bloodsoaked Champion. Another Marauder. Alright, so we're going to drop to 6, assuming our opponent attacks with both, which means we are... If our opponent doesn't have removal, we're an untapped red source away from just winning next turn. Yep. So we take 6, draw, tap red source. Alright, so I think we go slower here. Get in with Bloodsoaked Champion. We'll leave back the tokens to block, which unfortunately means they die to Bioblight. The good news is, with Bloodfell Caves, we go up to 7. So, our opponent playing another Mogus' Marauder doesn't actually kill us. It puts us to 1. And then next turn we have Flame Wake with haste off the top. So let's see, Grey Merchant doesn't kill us. I don't think this deck plays Grey Merchant. Obelisk of Erd doesn't kill us. I don't think there's a card... I guess if our opponent had Black Spell, Black Creature into Mogus' Marauder, that would be a way that we could die. Merciless Executioner. Jeez, that's not very good at the moment. So I guess we just sack Bloodsoaked Champion, since it will come back next turn anyway. And our opponent has to sack something too, Merciless Executioner. Let's see what our opponent has here. Bioblighter tokens would be bad. If he just attacks, I think we're gonna double block now. If our opponent has a removal spell for the blowouts, that's still fine. And our warriors can attack through the untapped Marauder. So now we hope our opponent doesn't have removal. And we can Flame Wake Phoenix, get in for 2 damage, and get back our Bloodsoaked Champion. Sweet. So we did get to attack. Puts our opponent to 1. Now we get to get back Bloodsoaked Champion. Temple of Triumph for the Scry. Oh, and there's a Butcher. That is a great one off the top. Well, that pretty much guarantees we get to win next turn. It'd be pretty difficult for us not to win next turn now. Another Marauder. That shouldn't do it. Even if our opponent has like Sign in Blood, it only puts us to 1. They apparently didn't have another black creature. And we should have 3 lethal threats. Opponent attacks with both. We drop to 3. Signs in Blood us to 1. And yep. Oddly enough, that 1 game land won us the game. As funny as that sounds. But gaining that 1 life was actually the difference between winning and losing that game. So here, Magma Sprays and Ultimate Prices seem good. Alicia is not exciting. What else can we cut? Jeering Instigator actually is not that exciting, because we don't have anything great to steal from our opponent. Mardu Charm Sorens, I kind of want to cut a 4-drop, but I don't know what to cut. Outpost Siege is a big part of the deck. The life gain from Sorin is nice, as with Butcher. Maybe we go down 1 Temerat and 1 Outpost Siege. Sounds a little slow, but it's fine. Our opponent mauled to 6. And Shadow Spear. There's a 2-drop. Sultai Emissary is actually really, really good against this, the Mono Black Warrior deck. Blocks most of the creatures in their deck, and blocks some of them twice. So we can't block either of these anyway. So I guess we go with... I think we still go with Sultai Emissary, just because it's better against removal. 1 removal spell doesn't just completely get rid of our creatures. And we don't really mind Emissary dying, because it gets us closer to our Murderous Cut. So I guess ideally we want to land in the next 2 turns, so we can get Butcher and Sorin out there. Fortunately, we're still not in a good position to block, and we're taking 4 this turn and then 6 next turn. Well, there's a land. That's good. So now we can play Humble Defector and play the tapped land. We get some Scry action. Bloodsoaked Champion. While I like Bloodsoaked Champion, I don't think we want another creature that can't block, even if it is good fuel for our Butcher. Merciless Executioner. That's actually fine, because we get to sack the Sultai Emissary. And we still have 2 creatures. And what do we get? Ultimate Price. Well, that would have been a nice one to draw, but... Now I think there's a legitimate question if we even want to double block here. Like, we can take 5, then we can do a lot of good sacking. Ooh, and an Outpost Siege. So we can play Butcher. What's the right play? We can play Butcher, draw 2 with Humble Defector, sack Humble Defector for haste, sack Ultimate Price for lifelink, but then we're gaining 5, but then getting hit by everything. Maybe a better... We can play Outpost Siege, which doesn't do anything immediately. I think maybe we just play Sorin here and save our Butcher for next turn. We can Sorin plus Sorin, attack with both of our creatures and gain 6. Either our opponent either blocks or they have to attack. Well, either way, this puts them in a position where unless they have Hero's Downfall, they got to attack back at Sorin, or we can just keep gaining more life than they can deal. And our opponent only has 1 card left in hand. So I'm assuming they got to send 2 creatures at Sorin, just because they can't let us keep giving lifelink every turn. That is not a good plan for their deck. And they ignore Sorin? Wow. Talk about greedy. Well, I guess if they're going to ignore Sorin, we play Flamewake Phoenix. Pump up Sorin again. Opponent Bile-Blight's Flamewake, sure. Now we get to attack with both, gain 6. So our opponent's attacks are we're basically losing 1 life each time they attack. And we're actually to the point of getting Murderous Cut online. Our opponent can still kill Soren, but I don't think it really saves them. I think we got this one. This deck's actually been performing pretty well. Pretty happy with it. Alright, our opponent leaves back Shadow Spear and attacks me. Alright. Well, we're going to sack Evolving Wilds to get another Swamp. Another Flame Wake. Oh man, well this is good beats. We can Flame Wake, Murderous Cut, and win by pumping Soren. Yep, got there. Sweet. We are wrecking a bit of face. Yeah, alright, I'll be back.